welcome to Thursday's Tea and Colouring with Liz at Home. Today the tea I'm drinking is Rooibos Almond Milk. It's a South African brand put out by tea merchants, and it's a whole leaf tea which I have in my little glass pot that I'm very fond of, and it has a little strainer inside it which is super for loose leaf teas. It's quite a refreshing flavour. I'm not sure if one can get it in any other country though. I really enjoy these loose leaf teas as well as the tea bags. So sit back, pour yourself a cuppa, either tea, coffee, hot chocolate, or whatever you like, even a glass of wine if it's that time of the day. Get out your colouring books and join me, either doing the same picture as I am or whatever you feel like doing. I'm carrying on with my picture today from Daydreams or Dagdrommar by Karlzon, the little hare. And I'm going to be doing at the beginning now, the circle with my super sparkle pops by Pentel. I'm using a color which is red strawberry kind of color. They don't really have names or numbers on these pens, so it's hard for me to tell you exactly what the color is. But they're really, really nice to use. I highly recommend these. If you're interested, I'll put the link to them from Amazon underneath. I don't think you can buy them in South Africa, unfortunately. So sit back, enjoy, relax, and I'll put on a little bit of music for you. See you just now. So now we're going to do the hair in this picture, and I'm going to use Faber Castell Polychromos for this because I may be brave and try to put some little hairy bits in, and I may not, but I thought they retain a nice sharp point. So I have chosen some colors and I really hope they're going to work. I'm not sure. I haven't done a test run or anything. Please excuse the boink boink that always happens with these chairs. So the colors I've chosen are, that's walnut brown, Van Dyke brown, which is here, let me see. Van Dyke brown, which is 176. I don't know if you can see it. I think it's better down there. Maybe let me put the numbers rather. Van Dyke brown, and then walnut brown, and then nougat, and ivory. I may decide to do some very dark bits with some dark sepia, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to start with my lightest one, with my darkest one, sorry, talking a load of rubbish here, which is actually the walnut brown. And I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. There we are, and I've made a second cup of tea. I'm now having some strawberry cheesecake tea. Unfortunately, not real strawberry cheesecake. Wouldn't that be nice? So I'm going to start in the bits that she's given us nicely with the little dark spots. I always feel anxious when I color animals. I was wanting kind of like a brown hair, not a grey one. I just thought it would be cute. I wonder if that must be the inside of the ear. Should possibly do that. I don't know if that should be darker, or I was looking at some photos of hares and they don't have like bunny pink ears. They've got darker inside of their ear. There we go. We had such a hot spell for a while, and being Africa, we get all these jolly horrible flying bugs which totally freak me out. I can't stand them, and I get beside myself when they're around, and my poor husband's got to spend his life grabbing them and throwing them outside again. So besides the fact that I don't enjoy the heat, I can't stand all the bugs that come along in summertime. With my grandparents coming from Europe, from Norway, I often think I'm more suited to the colder climates. Don't think my system has adapted itself to our African ways. And yet I've never lived anywhere else, so should have, but it's just the way it is. I very seldom use these Polychromos pencils, and they're actually so nice. I remember when I first started colouring, the first group I belonged to was I think it's called Colouring Heaven, and the lady that started that group that group's name. She's no longer in the group anymore. Other people are admin and run the group now, but she colored so beautifully, and she had these Polychromos, and I thought, oh wow, if I could just afford those pencils, then my coloring would get better. And I whined and whinged and moaned and wanted them so badly, and at that stage they were not available in South Africa. You could only import them from overseas. I think that's way back 2015 or thereabouts. And finally my husband agreed to let me order them for a birthday present, and I mean, they were a hang of a price to import them and everything, so I was so grateful and so spoiled to get them. And then when I got them, I was so scared to use them, because then I thought, now what happens? I remember doing a picture from Enchanted Forest, and I used the chrome green oxide on the background of the trees, and I used half the pencil up. And because I've got an artist's edition of Enchanted Forest, and the pages are big, and I mean, most of the dark bit was chrome green oxide in different, either light or dark, and I was beside myself, so I sort of kind of packed them away and didn't really use them for ages. And now, I mean, how things have changed. You get them easily in South Africa. You can buy open stock. I was popped into PNA, which is one of our craft shops, and I was quite surprised. It wasn't even a big branch to see a whole 120 tin sitting there in Durbanville. And at the art shop, which is almost in walking distance of our house, it would be in walking distance if I wasn't so unfit and lazy, they've got open stock and everything. So I mean, I should use them more than I use my Prismacolor, because those also you can get at one shop in South Africa, but it's in Johannesburg, so it's always got to be sort of sent here, so you pay postage and stuff, and they cost an arm and a leg. I do periodically, I have a friend that goes, his daughter lives in America, and she flies over once a year, and I usually order from Blix and open stock the ones that I need that are running low. I buy usually, like the ones that I use, I have kind of one and one extra, and I order open stock from her. Okay, so sorry, I didn't put my little piece of paper down, which is the walnut brown. So now I'm going to do the next one, which is the Van Dyke brown. Van Dyke, or Americans probably call it Van Dyke, but Afrikaans and Netherlands would say Van Dyke, I think. I'm not sure about the Netherlands. Oops, gone out the lines again. So I'm making this a bit of a chatty video. I'm not sure if, so then I'm not going to be able to speed it up. But I'm just going to do the hair this Thursday, and then maybe I really kind of wanted like a pinky background, but with all this blue that's bled through, I'm not sure. I'm probably going to have to do blue. Maybe I can do blue to like lilac, which is going to look like nighttime, but anyway, so be it. We're about to, tomorrow, it's been school holidays now, and tomorrow I go back to school, and then we're into the last term, and then I'm retiring, and I'm I'm kind of on the one hand super excited about it and looking forward to having more time and everything. It's one of the reasons I started this YouTube channel, to give myself an aim and something that I need to do. But I also have grandchildren that I want to spend more time with, and I'm really looking forward to like going to watch them play their tennis and hockey and swimming, and then with the baby playing with him more. And I did like a moms and babies class, and now he'll be a toddler. He's turning 1 quite soon, next month. No, November. The other one in Germany is turning 1 on the 7th. I think that's next week. But the one here is turning 1 in November. And I thought I can maybe join like a toddler's workshop and go with him. I'll see. I have quite bad arthritis, and I find like when I'm with the babies, I want to get down on the floor with them and everything, because it's what you do and it's good for me and it lifts my spirits and all that kind of thing. But I kind of suffer for it afterwards, and then have to take lots of pills, and those are also not so good for you. So kind of like you can't win. My mom always used to say to me, getting old is not for sissies, and I'm not old yet. I'm late middle age, let me say. But it's my arthritis really gets to me, my joints. Still, thank goodness, that's all at the moment that's a problem, besides blood pressure and stuff. So let me get in these little difficult bits between the flowers. Oh, I'm going to need a sharper point. Quickly haul out the sharpener. Always have my little plastic bowl. Another South Africanism, we always call it a bucky. Like a little bowl. Whoops, and everything goes flying. Nearly sent my pencils onto the floor. That would have been an absolute disaster. So I hope you can see. I hope this is close enough for you. I'm going to be like enjoying freedom, but I'm going to miss the school kids as well, I must say. I mean, my husband's name is Neville, and he and I were watching a movie called something crazy, Rich Asians or something like that. Sounds very racist, but anyway, it was, people may have heard of it, and it was a fun movie. But then they talk about things like K-pop and this and that, and my husband said, what's K-pop? And I was pleased because I knew, because the kids at school listen to K-pop. They're crazy about it. And I've sort of like, I mean, most of my contemporaries don't know what Reddit is, and they don't use anything. I mean, they're doing a lot if they use Facebook, but so all of those things, Reddit, Twitter, Instagram, although I must say, having said that, I hate Instagram. Most people seem to love it, but I find I don't like working on my mobile. How do you guys feel about it? I know people like my friend Griselle from New York does everything on her mobile. She's so clever. I mean, she helps run our Facebook group, the Colouring Book Colour Along, so well with her mobile, and I can't do anything. I can't even like figure out how to read comments on YouTube from my mobile. So all of those things. Now it's funny. What? Oh, that's a flower. This is part of the bunny, I hope. I'm quite dyslexic. I have problems with very spatial things. And when pictures are too complicated, they stress me a bit, but there we go. I suspect this is all bunny. I hope so. I'm going to make it all bunny. My coloring picture, I can do what I want to. What's that old song? It's my party, I can do what I want to. Something like that. I can't remember. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm going to be quiet for a few minutes so that I can speed this bit up. So I've gone over this with the walnut brown, and now I'm doing the around the edges with the Van Dyck brown. Where is it? There we are, just to kind of add some definition. I wonder why I don't use my Polychromos more. I'm loving them. I haven't used them in months and months and months. So just to show you what I've been doing, decided I wouldn't speed up. I'd rather do bits without turn the camera off for bits. And I'm trying to give a variety of videos. Somewhere I talk more and somewhere I play some music. It's hard to find the open copyright-free music that you're allowed to use. There is a site on YouTube, but I don't always like much of it. Okay, now I'm going to use nougat. One thing about the Polychromos that I find difficult is the very shiny name that you can't really see. It always shines. I don't know if others also struggle with that. A quick glug of this totally delicious tea. I should have sharpened it before I started the movie, before I started doing the video. Hardly a movie. I had a thought, and it would be interesting if anybody comments on whether you think it's something you'd like to see. I had a thought of, I don't know if I've got the courage to do it, either getting a friend to help me or going myself and trying to do it, like of going to something like PNA and showing you kind of what the story is like for those people that are in other countries. I mean, I know when I go overseas, the first thing I want to see is like, what are the art shops like, and what's this like, and what's that like. Even a tomato in another country is kind of exciting to me because it's grown in another country. But maybe I'm just totally weird. Well, we all know I am just totally weird. But I thought of like going and finding something and maybe giving myself a challenge, like a little craft kit or something, and either bringing the grandkids in again and trying to do it with them, or doing it myself? Do you think it's something that you'd like to watch, or do you prefer just to stay with the colouring and the reviews and stuff like that? I think I'm using walnut brown now, and I just want to make the little bits between his claws darker so that they stand out more. Oh, him, she. Look at that lovely, it's a lady hair. Got a pretty ring on her finger. I've always thought of this one as a man, but she's a lady hair. So now I want to try, I'm going back to the Van Dyck brown, I think. Yes, I always feel it's so hard seeing them. I want to try and get the direction that I colour in kind of correct, so that they're probably not going to do flicky fur, just like along here. The hair would go in this direction. I find it quite hard to speak and colour at the same time. It's like multitasking, not something I do so well. Often wondered how people manage with the live chats. So to get my pencil so that you can actually see what I'm doing is also kind of tricky. Mustn't forget I want to put the nougat in the middle. Sounds like I'm going to put a sweetie in the middle. I mean the colour nougat. I do like eating nougat. Oh, it's yummy. But I'm getting so overweight. Oh my word. Anybody got a great diet that's easy to follow and healthy? If you do, let me know. Send me a message, please. Summer coming along. Still past the age of donning my costume in front of anybody, but I do like to swim at home. It's one of the few exercises I actually enjoy. So I will have to lose a couple of kilograms. I must say, if I could lose 10, I'd probably feel a whole lot better too. And the joints would have less bother. So do I want to make his nose dark? No, I think I'm going to make the top, his snout. I think I'm going to make that light and then bring the darker one, the walnut brown, down here to the lower part of his mouth. Oh, he's sweet. Hello, little Hare. How are you? Shade that sort of into each other there. And go back to the nougat. Let's vandyk nougat. There we are. I'm using quite a hard pressure here. I'm not going to make hairs. What I was doing there is trying to get the direction right so that it looks more like fur. Doing kind of flicky moves. Down the arm. See, I get confused then when I get with the direction changing, because here it must come down. Okay. And there. So now I'm going to go over it with the ivory quite hard, and then I'll go in again and I'm kind of burnishing here. Taking all my muscles to burnish this here. These little flowers, it's so hard to go in between. I think I'm going to use fine liners for them, so that will actually cover the messes. He doesn't look too bad. He needs a couple more layers, and I think I'm going to, let me just go over that. I think that I'm going to need, my finger, sure. It's hard work. So now I've got dark sepia here, and I'm going to try for some definition in various places. So here he is. And I'm going to just do the nose and the eyes, and then next Thursday I will finish it with the flowers and the background. I think I'm going to try my Neo color too for the background. This is black that I'm using here. I'm not sure. I looked at a picture and the way that it's been drawn, it's all pupil. There's not a chance to actually give an eye color. Just going to give a little bit of highlight the side there. Whoopsie. And I'll use a gel pen or something later, and then I'm going to use medium flesh for her little nosy. There we are. So thank you very much for watching, and see you again next Thursday for some more tea and colouring. And please remember to subscribe. Bye bye.